evening, everyone. Thank you for attending the Clayton County Library Board of Trustees for March the 9th, 2021, starting at 6 o'clock p.m. We're going to go ahead and call to order to open up our meeting, and the time is 6:02 p.m. Do anybody feel led to lead us in a word of prayer? All right, if not, I'll go ahead. Oh, dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. We just thank you for giving us breath and life. Thank you for giving us the strength to go out another day to do your will as you see fit. The Lord Jesus, be with us today as we do our board meeting, the Lord Jesus, and also be with all the viewers that's watching this meeting as well. Make sure that we're doing things and saying things that's in decency and order, that everything will be leading and pleasing to your ears to hear. All these things I do ask and pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Okay, so next is a roll call from our Madam Secretary. Could you give us a roll call?
I would be glad to. Miss Mapilla Dawn.
Present.
Carolyn Boone.
Here.
Brenda Pridgeon.
Present.
Shatara Carter. Miss Carter. Brenda Harrison here. Bob McAllen.
Here.
Emmanuel. Julie Pizarro. Crystal Perry.
Present.
Kim Blackwood.
And I think Julie just joined.
Yes, I see her. Thank you. And I saw Kim was trying to log on earlier. Kim, did you ever get on? Okay. And Madam Chair.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. And we do have a quorum.
Awesome, awesome. So before we get to the next agenda, the next item on the agenda, I want to turn the floor over to our Vice Chair, Mapilla Madon, to go ahead and finish our facilitating tonight's meeting. Did I go? Am I on mute again? Oh, there I am. Mapilla has her. Is she?
Mapilla is, oh, there she is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that opportunity, but if I may, I will decline at this time. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. All right. Thank you, Vice Chair Mapilla. Okay, so we're gonna go and continue with our items on the agenda, the approval of the agenda. Okay, everybody had a chance to look at the agenda. Okay, at this time, could we get a motion to either approve the agenda or to add or delete anything from the agenda?
This is Madam Chair, may I?
Yes.
I have, excuse me, I think a lot of the board expected me to be presenting for the BOC in light of new information I would like us to add, whether it's the discussion about the logo to the agenda.
Okay. Okay, so that's going to be up on the unfinished business. We still waiting for information. So we're going to add the Vice Chair recommendations for line item number 5, section C, to be added for the logo of the library.
Madam Chair, I make a motion.
Yes.
We accept the agenda with the amendment that is requested.
Okay.
I second.
All right. Any questions? No question. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Okay, so move. We have approved the agenda with the additional line item. Thank you. Okay, the next one on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. Now that everybody has a chance to read over the minutes, is the minutes to your accuracy from the last meeting we had in February. If there's any correction or deletions that need to be brought to the Madam Secretary attention.
The one that I got, I'm not sure if it's the one that everyone else got that had some markings on it. Madam Secretary, were you able to remove
Marking?
those?
No, I was not. The one that everyone did receive was with your edits on it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the minutes I had sent to Madam Vice Chair to look over it for any corrections, and everybody was sent out the edited with the notes on it. So next time I have to learn how to do that.
And I'll work with you, Madam Secretary, and we'll get it done. We'll get it done.
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh, excellent teamwork. Teamwork in its finest. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, ladies. Besides that, is any other comments to be made about the minutes? All right. Could we get a motion on the floor to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second the motion. The motion. I'm sorry.
Sounds like a soundtrack to a song.
Yeah, I know,
Really?
right?
Second that emotion.
Hey, Kim.
Oh my.
Okay, so great. So is there any questions? Okay, no question. All in favor to approve the minutes? In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so all opposed, say nay. Okay, so be it, the minutes has been approved and accepted. Excellent. So our next one, Madam Secretary, do we have anyone for public comments?
No one signed up for public comment, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
All right, all right. Now, I know y'all listening to us, viewers and citizens and patrons. We would love to hear anything that is of concern or you have any questions. Please feel free to email us, and our Madam Secretary will make sure that she gets you on so that we can hear what you have to say. Your voice does count. So very good. So now we'll move into our next line item, which is director and assistant director reports. So we're gonna go with deputy director. That's Mr. Scott.
Good evening, everyone. Scott Parham, Deputy
evening.
Director. How are you?
Good
Are there any
Good,
questions
good,
regarding
good.
my report?
Let me see. Oops.
I know we did
am
have a
trying.
question. Yeah, go ahead, Miss Vice Chair.
It was more of a comment. And I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at the right report before I say assistant director. No, that's not you. What's the title of your report? I'm sorry.
Deputy Director, Project Management.
Okay. No, that's not it. I had the wrong document open.
Are there any other questions while Ms. Dawn is?
I did have a question while Vice Chair is looking up for her information. It's just a recap, and you probably already have it in the your report. We was talking about the only thing that was need to be finished with the cafe was that water main line or the or draining line or something like that to that extent.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's been done, completed,
Yes.
or oh,
It has been done.
good job. So when do we expect to start opening it up, having the door cracked? So as patrons come in with the limitation of the numbers that can be allowed in the building, where if they walk in, peek their head through and say, oh, nice.
Well, right now we are going to be soliciting local authors for their books so that we can have some on display. We also have library swag that we will have in the cafe/coffee shop. So we are gathering those items as well as a point of sale, cash register.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so we want to make sure that we're able to capture those sales, and also we want to be safe as possible. So yeah, we're finalizing. The room itself is completed as far as the build out. Now it's just
Okay.
fine tuning everything that goes in the room and making sure that we're smart and safe about it.
Okay, so with you said with the cash register and the fund that's coming in, so will those funds be going to the general funds back to the Board of Commissioners? Or would that be a fund that the library can establish an account so that we can, if we needed some materials or whatever is needed for the library to function in operation, would that be allowed?
To my knowledge, we would have to have that under the auspices of the foundation so that those monies
Oh.
could be utilized for library purposes. If not, then yes, it would be going to the general fund.
Okay,
So to the best of my knowledge, that's how that setup would have to be.
okay, clearly understand, and
Library
that give us
director.
some work to get done then. I
Yes,
think,
ma'am.
I think Vice Chair is ready for her question.
I'm sorry. No, I should have been muted. My bad. Go ahead. Carry on.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah, so that is good information to know, Mr. Scott. And I'm just trying to make sure that if we can come up with ways of getting that foundation, as you stated, and I know we've been working towards clarifying some foundations and stuff like that, so that the money that it will be received will be used for the library for such things that y'all might need and everything. So thank you for your report, Scott. If anybody else has any question for Mr. Scott. No? All right. Okay. Let's.
Piers, I didn't get his report because I'm looking and I don't see it, but yeah, I'm looking through the lists. I may have omitted it.
No, I didn't get it either.
No,
didn't get it
you
either.
didn't.
Okay,
You're not
guys,
by yourself.
I'll see if I have it and I'll send it out.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so moving right along. Let's hear now. Let me pull out of my favorite hats. So we have the virtual service librarian report. That look like that's gonna be Dana. Hi, Dana.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Dana Marseille, the Virtual Services Librarian. Are there any questions regarding my report?
Hey, Dana, thanks as always. Love these updates. I just want to clarify and make sure that the community knows. So is it starting this month? Hotspots are now available at all locations, not just the main branch?
I would say either later this month or beginning in April. They'll be available at all the branches.
Okay, so that is our goal so that you won't
Yes.
have to go to the main branch. And then again, just kudos on the links, the video links, because I just find that very useful to even go back. So thank you for always keeping us informed.
No problem.
I have a
Yes,
question. I have a question.
yes,
It
go
says
ahead, Bob.
training on how to handle the hotspots and things like that. Is that going to be just directed solely at the branch managers so that then they can disperse the knowledge to the other people on staff, or
Correct.
is the training going to be on everybody?
That would be directed towards the managers and then the library assistant seniors.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, that's good, Dana. And I just happened to be at the park today, and I met a parent that says that she reached out to the school system. So I just want to make sure that our viewers and our board know that we have informed the school system that we do have hotspots. So if any of the students didn't have a very good internet connection or no internet, they could get the hotspots from the library. Yes, no,
Was that a question for me?
yes, yes, it was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
I was just asking just to get verification that we have notified the public school system, the Clayton County Public School System, that they are aware that the library do have hotspot for internet service. If parents that have kids that do not have that service or a poor service, they can come to the library to get that, to pick up that hotspot.
They should be aware of that. There is a limit though. There's only 20 hotspots that'll be given to each branch. So whereas headquarters has 100, the other branch
Yes,
only have 20.
And will
okay.
the
So-
checkout also be up to 2 weeks, the 14 days? Is that the same?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I just want to make sure that I told the patron correct information, that the school was aware that the parents could come to the library, which was the headquarters at that time, and currently still at this time, that they can pick up a hotspot. So she was unaware, and she just told me that she just completely just gave up. He don't even go to don't check in or anything. So I'm like, please don't do that. Please go to the library. So thank you, Dana. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I have a follow-up question about the number of hotspots that are currently allocated to the Jonesboro Library branch. Where are those hotspots
I will keep them with me.
directed at?
I will keep them with me in my office until we determine what's going to happen with Jonesboro in the future.
Okay, that's good, Bob.
We may go ahead and let those circulate from headquarters, because there's no need to just keep them. We need to have them circulating. So they may just circulate from headquarters until Jonesboro is reestablished.
Okay.
All right. Good answer. Good answer. Thank you, Director Let. Okay, any other question for Dana?
I don't have a question for Dana, but I do want to let the board members know that I did send out Deputy Director Scott's report.
Thank you.
Just now.
Yes, I saw it flash across. So thank you, Madam Secretary. All right. So there's no other question for Dana. Thank you, Dana, for your report. We appreciate what you do. And now we are ready for our Assistant Director, Technology and Training, Miss Makita.
Good evening, Marquita Gucci-Void, Assistant Director for Technology and Training. Are there any questions regarding my report?
Well, I just like to say that I got to see firsthand the podcasting when we did the opening at the Northwest Library. I saw Dana had it in her hand. I'm like, ooh, that's look like a new toy. What is that? So it is very impressive and everything. So good job. Good job. I liked it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say just kudos to diversity, the shout out to cosplay. I mean, just under that anime cosplay was a big deal in my child's literacy development. And so it's just so wonderful to see us keeping up with the times and being relevant and making sure that, because this is definitely something that kids are into. And so to see it kind of branching out, shout out to Marquita for just keeping us in the forefront. I feel like we are in the 21st century when it comes to meeting our patrons.
Very good, Miss Perry, because those the kudos that go to Rachel and Morrow and Jennifer authors in Northwest. So they put that together. So kudos to them. Let them know that we see what they're doing and we appreciate it. Good job.
I have a question. And this is the piggyback off of Madam Chair. With the kit, I too was very impressed. And it's my understanding that patrons who want to learn how to use that, you guys are giving lessons? Is that true? Or am I mistaken? Because there was actually something that was mobile, which was like is that part of the kit?
No, Dana was actually carrying that around during the opening of Northwest to capture the invited guests as they walked through. Those are specifically for branches to use right now with virtual programming.
Okay.
And the majority of them were purchased with humanities grant funding for us to go out and do additional virtual programs and stuff. It's made it a lot easier. Before, many of the branches were either using an iPad and just kind of holding it, which made unstable video. The sound quality was not as good. This is a compact portable kit that utilizes an iPad. It has two lenses. One is a wide angle, one is a macro. It has an onboard microphone. And we actually used it to record Commissioner Franklin's next story time. So she got to see it as well. So yeah, they are not for the public, as they were not purchased for that specifically. What you're talking about is us revamping and revising the makerspace offerings at headquarters in Northwest. So headquarters will become our, what did I call it? Creative Commons. So photography, video production, editing, music production, and voiceover training and recording. Northwest will become our Fab Lab. So robotics, 3D printing and design, anything that's tinkering, that sort of thing. And we did that ideally because the headquarters one is smaller. We've done events where we did fabrication and 3D printing and stuff, but it's a tight space and it gets hot. And especially now when we have to do social distancing, it's not ideal. Northwest is designed better to accommodate larger, small groups if that, where we're socially distanced. And they have an open space and they have storage. So we can move all of the filament and the 3D tools and all that kind of stuff out of the way to give teens and adults more access that way.
And I think you mentioned where there's some awards that are out there, floating out there for people to apply for.
Yes.
So where it says, I'm thinking, and this is to the board, where it's the last two bullets, a practicing Georgia librarian who has made substantial contributions to the library profession, to be considered for the Nick Jones Award. I see Marquita written all over that. A team that has excelled in the past year by offering innovative programming or services or providing outstanding support to Georgia Library. I see the Clayton County Library System. So do we just go over there to that link and nominate?
Correct. So point of clarity for anyone who's watching, what the vice chair is discussing is the Georgia Library Association Awards. The nominations opened at this point, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago. I could be wrong. It could be longer than that. But yeah, there's different levels of awards that people can be nominated for. And yeah, you're right. There are categories that are ideal for, that our staff fit in, and not just me, but people who've been here longer than I have, and contribute in their own unique and special ways. So yeah, I just sharing it. Also shameless plug, because I sit on the awards committee and I am the VP of marketing for GLA. So just shameless plug, just, we're trying to get that out there to share as much information as we can.
And maybe Director Ladd or anyone else, do any of you know if anyone has been nominated? Do we need to do that? Like, what was your goal? Is it just to let us know, or is it something you would encourage us to nominate?
It was something that we shared last year as well. So yeah, I think the more nominations, the better. But people won't find out about what we're doing if we're silent about it. So.
Okay.
Okay.
And we can share as well. We can share the links on our social media just to encourage the community to nominate their favorite librarians or the
Okay.
county library in general.
All right. That sounds like a goal we can do as some trustees. Y'all, we're going to get on it. Thank you, Vice Chair, for pointing that out to us because we were just reading it like, okay. So thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question about the same subject, and it's
Yes.
just offline because I haven't read the link completely yet. But Marquita, do you know the timeline for those nominations?
The deadline is May 31st for all nominations to be submitted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
April, May. Okay. All right. Any other question for Makita? Thank you, Makita, for your awesome report. We appreciate it.
You're
Keep
welcome.
up the good work.
Will do.
Now we will have the library youth service. So that's going to be Rebecca James. Rebecca James.
Good evening, everyone. I am Rebecca James, Assistant Director for Youth Services. Any questions or comments about my report?
I would just say shout out to the new collection of having something that's just more diverse. I see that there's a focus on new section that highlight African Americans, manga again. I can't talk about anime, cosplay, that whole world enough. Comics, which I tell people, get them reading, get them excited about a character, and then you can give them more and more words. And then could you talk about Read Woke? I think I know, but it's a unique opportunity, and I just want to make sure our patrons are aware of this new section.
Yes, Read Woke is a initiative that was started by a media specialist, I want to say in Gwinnett County several years ago, and she is now national, bringing attention to works of diversity and inclusion to not only teenagers, but all ages. We are fortunate that we use the Beanstack online platform for our summer reading program and now monthly reading challenges. Beanstack is now partnering with the Read Woke initiative to make it national, where there's a variety of books available for all ages to read from, to come in and discuss. We now have a middle school book club and a high school book club that are being done virtually. This is all being spearheaded by Nell German, who is our youth services supervisor at the Northwest branch. She was a media specialist before coming to us, so she really has a good feel for what appeals to students, and we are receiving good feedback and good participation, not only in the online challenge through Beanstack, but in her book clubs also. And because of this participation, we are going to be able to have teen author David Yoon as one of our summer teen programs. He will live stream a session talking about his work and also doing questions and answers for our teenagers. And if I remember correctly, that will be June 2nd. But yes, Ms. Perry, thank you for that. It's an excellent opportunity for students and families to participate and just get an exposure to different books and topics that they might not have chosen. And our libraries are highlighting them. They have their own sections in the youth services areas, so the books can easily be picked up and checked out.
Love it. Again, kudos. Research does show that when children can see themselves in situations in the literature, they're more likely to read. And believe it or not, our kids can handle some more concepts, some rigorous concepts. So I'm just glad now that we have carved out a section so they can be focused. So definitely read woke. And I think Ms. Kim might have some highlights as well.
Yes.
I want to point you to the chat box. Thank you, Ms. James.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Yes, Ms. Kim, you are up next. We're still not done with you, Rebecca. We're not done, but yes,
I know.
Ms. Kim is jumping out of her seat with some awesome news.
Okay, so at Clayton County Public Schools, we're sponsoring an upcoming parent and community night. It's in line with our social emotional learning initiative. It's some great tips and things for people returning back to work. So that's going to be, it's for everybody, not just parents, anybody in the community. And the registration link is the ClaytonKCO.1, that one that I popped in the chat. We also have a conference that we're advertising. It's not sponsored by us. It's a worldwide conference, and it's free for all girls aged 13 to 18. It's during the school day, but in Clayton County, if they show that they have registered, they get an excused absence. So it's something to really empower these girls and let them learn how to own their voices and all that. It's going to be very exciting. So that girls conference is in honor of Women's History Month. And that's the Urban Assembly link that I popped up there. And I'll be happy to share. I'll email you guys all the press that went out about both of those events. So,
and Kim, I would just like to ask, now you did say that that event is for ages 13 to 18 and it's open for all girls, not just the Clayton County public system girls, but all girls.
Anybody.
Okay, that's good to know, because we do have some other girls in different events, but I would like to share that with the Girl Scout.
Yes, absolutely. We'd love to get as many girls in there as possible. And like I say, it's a worldwide event. There's going to be people there from all over the world. So it'll be very exciting.
Okay, well, thank you, Miss Kim. Thank you. And
You're
then
welcome.
Rebecca, I do see on your report about Jonesboro, and I know it's temporarily closed due to the situation of maintenance. But I do show that you have activities. So do you have some staff members that's going in there to do some of the things that you listed as reaching out to extend organization for informative workshops? You know, I see all these things on there. So is the Jonesboro doing some kind of, even though they're partnered up with the other branches, but are they doing something to still try to represent Jonesboro branch?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Their programs are still being classified as Jonesboro branch programs, and they get full credit for that. Staff are working out of other branches, but and continuing to and they contribute to those branches. But Demetria's story times and children's programs still are fully being represented as belonging to Jonesboro, and the adult programming that Kimberly and the staff are doing are fully credited for them.
Okay, very good. Yeah, very good. I noted in here and stuff like that. So I just want the viewers to know that just because the doors are closed doesn't mean that activity is not still going on and presented to the community. Thank you so much. And thanks to all of your youth staff as well. The pictures that you show of their displays It's very amazing, and all your youth departments of the branches are doing a fabulous job and stuff. So kudos to all of them.
Thank you.
If
All right.
I may, just to piggyback off of this line of questioning, what is the community being told? Let's say someone shows up at the branch. Is it what exactly is being told to the community regarding that location? Do they know even though the building is closed, like what you just said? Because it seems like they're still very much supporting that community with their virtual services. Does the community know that? Is it posted on the door or something?
I don't think I would have to refer that to Scott and the director, but about wording, but I'm sure that we can work to make sure that that is clearly established as the Jonesboro community that had used that
Right.
library is still being served, even though, as you say, the building is closed. But we can we'll make sure that we're discussing that and working on some wording. Okay.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, on the website, it tells them that the building is closed, but if they want services, it refers them to headquarters. But we could put whatever else out there to let them know. But if people are requesting stuff from Jonesboro, their requests are being filled. That's kind of where we are.
May I add something? The city of Jonesboro does put out a monthly newsletter, and we can get them to put that announcement in their newsletter monthly about what's going on in the Jonesboro Library. Is that something you want to see happen, Ms. Lett?
That'll be fine.
Okay, I will make the connection for you.
Okay, so do we have any other additional questions? And then we'll get a feedback for that answer as well. Okay, so now we'll go on to our next report. And that report will be by Ms. Belinda.
It's progressive right now because he doesn't have prior insurance. And if he gets his life
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Belinda.
Hello, I'm Belinda Ellaby. I am the Grant Financial Literacy Outreach Coordinator. Anybody have any questions for my report?
Ms. Melinda, I don't know if we asked this before. Are these sessions recorded at all? Especially the ones around the money management and the estate planning? Because I know they happen during the day. So
they're not recorded, but we are doing them. We're partnering to pretty much do some of them monthly. And because we partner, they are recording them, yes. But we're looking at doing some podcasts and some other things so that we can record some programs, but we offer them enough, and they're all not during the day. We do have a variation where some are during the day, but then also some are in the evening as well to accommodate those that may not be available during the day.
But we are trying to, you said in a partnership, we'll be eventually recording these?
Well, we will be recording some of these programs, but not all the specifics, because some partners have exclusive rights to theirs, and there are certain things that we cannot record, but we are asking certain partners to give us the authorization to be able to post them on our websites. So that is something that Marquita, Dana, and I are kind of looking at to see who and which of our partners will allow us to do that. Because I gather there are some strict guidelines and restrictions and protection that sometimes limit them from providing that information.
Belinda, let me ask you now. I think we were on a call today on new rental as opposed to ownership.
Right.
And they did send out hard copies of the presentation. Are we able to share that with our team, even though they're not recorded?
You're talking about the handouts?
Yes.
Normally we do in a normal situation, we do. And we post those events and we send that information out. But we're doing it enough that we also do those type of workshops on the weekend as well. Now that one particularly today was a condensed 1 hour, and this is the first time they did that. But it was mentioned they did not record it because they do plan to do that every month. So that's something I can kind of talk about to see if they can perhaps do some of those in the evening. But with the programs that we do, they do make it a point to present those some at different hours to make it available for a different audience.
Okay. What she
I was
said.
even just, oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Secretary, I was saying too, because it just in some of the work that I'm doing, these are great topics, but people may not be ready yet. And so it's like I heard about it, credit, but I'm not ready yet. If I want to go back, you know, it might not be available. So just thinking about how we could keep this information to the forefront. If it was a way that we could house, you know, the digital handouts or somewhere for people to go. And just because it is the virtual world, I've even found that for myself, example, I am zoomed out, but if I get a recording, I might, you know, watch it on my own. And so just thinking about different people in different situations, those recordings, if we were able to get them, and of course we want to protect people's IP, but just having the information to be there so that when patrons are ready, we still have the information. So that's where that question came from.
Right, and then for that particular event, with that service, say for example, credit and money management, that is a partnership where they can do one-on-one consultations to help them to get ready and to prepare. And even with the home buyers and most of our research, our workshops, it introduced them to these topics and it addressed them where they are. And it gives them the opportunity to know that. And we encourage them to also sign up so that they'll get the notification of these different programs at different times. So during the day and the evening, and I understand what you mean, because as a matter of fact, on the call today, we kind of talked about the fact of being zoomed out. So, and that's something that we have begun to recognize, because I think Marquita has shared some of the statistics saying that many times people don't view the event actually when it's taking place, but they go back and review it. So that is something that I am looking at in terms of how we can do that. So that's
I have a question.
Okay.
Is this available to anyone? It doesn't matter where they live?
Exactly. And the partners, and when I send it out, I encourage them to share it as well. And so what we are finding is with the attendance, they're from everywhere. They're not just even local in the state as well. because when you put it out on social media, whoever see it signs up. So it's not just local, but yes, it is for anyone.
I have a question. I want to thank you for sending me information that I can share with my senior group.
Yes.
Yes, especially the information you sent about the coronavirus.
Yes.
They can get the virus. So they appreciated that very much.
And I will be in touch with you because I have been in connection with our AARP, and they're going to need others to be more involved in making sure that they provide the resources for seniors. So I will definitely be reaching out. Now I can put a face with the name.
Okay. All right. Thanks again.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, two questions actually. One is how do because I have a bunch of people as well, as part of the groups, other groups that I'm a member of, that would love this information and how to get this information to them, because there are a lot of people out there who are looking for, like for instance, the home buying program. And the second thing is in regards, and it's more of a statement. The second one is more of a statement than a question. I know you said that some people have proprietary things that they are, so they don't really like to record. And I was wondering if as an option that maybe it could be like available for a limited time, like the session recorded and then available for this amount of time to view and then expire, as an option. So it won't be just kind of out there for people, for some of those vendors that are kind of leery about having their information out there, without their permission or something like that.
Well, that's something that we can talk about. And what about with the partners about the possibility of having access to them. And what I'll ask is to have Brenda to send me everyone's email. So when I blast and when I send the information out, I can also include you all, because I send her pretty much, when I do something, I send it to her. So if she send me you all's email, I'll put you in the rotation to make sure that you're aware. And that's something I will check into as to a limited time.
Just have access to it for a limited time and then it expires. Like there are links to where like you would have a workshop and they would say, okay, this recorded or the session was recorded, but it's only going to be available for 24 hours. So for somebody, let's say for instance, couldn't see the meeting, they have the ability to go into the link and see the meeting, and then it expires afterwards. So it doesn't just stay in there. It just, it deletes after a certain time.
Well, I have had more conversation recently, because I think this virtual has been a process that everyone has had to learn. Right. And so now that we are a year into it, people are a lot more comfortable now because they're learning, and they learn about, the capability of blocking so that it's not interrupted in the whole 9 yards. So right. Now that my partners are more familiar with the process and the different networks that they can use, because like banks don't use Zoom and Google and those, they have to use just WebEx because of the security of the information. So that's something that I'll definitely put to the forefront to make sure, Julie, that we can do all we can. And that's something that even Marquita and she and I have had conversations recently about doing things so that we can record and put it out there. So that's on the burner. It's not on the side.
Thank you, Ms. Belinda.
All right.
Belinda, I have a question. This is Brenda Pridgeon as well.
Okay.
Do you have any statistics, or can you tell us how the county is benefiting from these presentations, considering people from all over are joining them? Is there any statistic or any information to tell us who exactly is benefiting?
No, stats. No, we don't. We keep attendance or whatever. But even when from years in the past, people from all over have come to support our programs because there's no other library system that's doing the level of programs that we're providing. So we don't have specific stats to say the county, but I do know that I'm working with a lot more of businesses in the county and helping them to appreciate the resources that we have to help them grow their business. So maybe that's something we can talk about, but in terms of stats for the county itself alone.
If I may add, Belinda.
Sorry. I was just thinking about Julie's question about knowing people right here in the area who could benefit from it, who may be right here and don't know the information exists or haven't been privy to it. That's my concern or my question. But thank you for the information.
This is Director Lex.
Initially,
We have done a lot of advertising of these programs, but we still tend to find that a lot of our citizens still do not know. So we try to send it out through the county. We try to send it out through the different commissioners' newsletters. We advertise it on our site. When we go out and speak in public, we talk about these things. So that's one way that the board can help us in advocating and letting people know to at least visit our website, because there are a lot of things that we do that people still don't have a clue. And when we do talk to them, they are always amazed at all of the different things that we offer, because they're still not thinking library first, which is my mantra. And we need to figure out better ways, but we don't have enormous marketing budgets. So when I write grants, I try to write in a marketing piece so we can get stuff. We've had stuff in the past on radio. You've had stuff on CCTV. So we've done a lot of the things that we need to be able to do to get the word out there, but there's still a kind of a gap between what people are actually hearing and knowing about. And that may be because people don't pay it any attention until they need it. And then when they need it, they now start to find out in dribs and drabs that the library does these things. So it's out there, but everybody just doesn't know about it yet.
Can I make a question? Is there any, in all these broadcast, podcasts or whatever, talk to the citizens about how to avoid ending up with their properties foreclosed upon, or the rent assistance and all of that type of thing that's going on right now?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I spent 3 hours last night on a conference in disaster preparedness, and that's also has been covered in that. But then also with the disaster prepared, we have also been talking about resources for avoiding eviction. That's also a part of the financial literacy, educating them how to avoid, educating them. We have a program that's called Budgeting During a Disaster, during the disaster crisis. And it talks about a lot of that. And it also talks about being aware of the forbearance that was promoted early on, how you can delay your mortgage payments. But we have had workshops to help them to appreciate, you need to know the upsides and the downsides of that and learning. So I have worked very, very closely with a lot of the financial institutions so that we can make sure that they know. And one of the biggest things that we have been stressing is that clients build a personal relationship with your financial advisors, because we know when those 800 government employees were shut down for a period of time, a lot of them lost because they did not know the recourses, how to prepare themselves in advance before that. So that is something that we're focusing on. But now also back to what we were talking about before the virus, we had a table set up in each branch, and it was an expression of interest form where when our patrons came into the libraries, they had a chance to fill that form off and check off and tell me what they're interested in. And whenever there was a big event like Mayfest or the town halls, we were always there. And most of the people that attended those were people in the county. So they had the opportunity to express what they were concerned about. And we found in each branch, certain areas had more interest in one subject than the others. And so we have taken the event, and that's something that I work with still, is some of those forms. Right now, because we don't have that many people coming in, we're not getting that much feedback, but I'm still working with that information as well to make sure that I inform the community about the various programs that we're having. So we're putting forth a diligent effort to make sure that we make the public aware, and the landlord and tenant programs. I mean, we are, and like today, the program was about renting as opposed to buying a home. So that's something that, making sure our focus is Clayton County, but we don't leave anyone out.
If I may, I have several questions. First,
Okay.
let me lead with this. I think you're doing a fantastic job. I mean, I love seeing the wealth of information that's available to the community every month. And I sincerely hope that people are taking advantage of these programs. So thank you so much, Belinda, for all that you do. I was wondering, moving forward, is it possible, you know how you list the programs? Is it possible, say, example, where you have February 4th, there was a contract ready program, right? So maybe right next to it, since it's already in the past, maybe you can just tell us how many people attended. So that way we can start having some sort of data that, over the month, we can be like, oh, attendance is rising. So that maybe that's something we can start if it's possible. Something else, is it also possible, I think I've said this before, but I may not have, for you to create events for these? This is really for us to help you, like Director Lett said, for us to help spread the word. A lot of us rely on our calendars. We're busy. So if there's an event and you invite each of the trustees to that event, it automatically comes up on the calendar. So that's something that can say I'm looking through and I see it, that may remind me to advertise it or, post on social media about it, or maybe even show up. So if that's something that is possible, in you helping us help you spread the word, I think that'll be a great thing to do.
Okay, and we'll talk about that because I'll send them to Brenda. But that's something we'll visit. And Brenda, we can talk about that as well. And you had something else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, I'd just like to say what an awesome conversation that we just had about this. It was very positive. And I also want to let the everybody be aware. I know I was at the BOC meeting, the one in February, and the COO indicated that there is some grant money that's out there. They said they got 3 different grants. It's a large amount that they're trying to get it out to the community of Clayton County. So if Belinda, if you have time to reach out to the COO, Diedrich Stanford, and he can inform you about those 3 large grants that they received from the federal to help subsidize.
Through the chamber.
Oh, it's through the chamber.
That's probably through the chamber.
Right, but can we get that information? Could that be part from what I'm hearing of discussion? Where these are funds where they can get their direct assistance.
Right, and as a matter of fact, Marquita and she's working on putting together a specific page, especially for the PPP, because that those funds are out there and there's available. So she's working on, and I've sent her the forms because the window of opportunity now will close on the 31st. But with the new initiative that the president is going to roll out, it'll show the opportunity for even more opportunities for additional funds. So we are working to make sure that we put those forms out there so that when you go to our website, you can click on that specific subject and it answers all the questions as to what it needs to qualify. And I think Marquita has put something in the chat about that so that you can click on it and see what we're putting together. Because I mean, it's a major task, and the spectrum is so broad. And I love what I do, but it's just one of me.
Right,
And
exactly.
I'm very passionate about it. And I think with what we have done in the financial literacy area has been phenomenal, because what we're doing is unlike any other branch. So I welcome the feedback, and we will definitely do all we can to implement the suggestions, because there's a need. And I always close the workshops by saying knowledge is of no value if you don't share it. So I just want to thank you all for your feedback, and we'll do everything that we can do to make sure that we continue to make a difference in Clayton County, but we continue to make a difference in the lives of the people that need help.
Good deal, good deal. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Belinda. Is there any other questions for Belinda before we move on to the director report? Okay, outstanding, Belinda. Thank you so much. So we're going to move over to our director report at this time. Director-elect.
Are there any questions about my report? All right, hearing none, there are a couple of updates I need to make. On the way home today, I got a call from Jaleese Williams from Central Services, and she told me that the Comprise deal has finally been negotiated, and they're waiting for signatures from Comprise as well as from the county attorneys so that they can issue the letters to proceed, and we can go ahead and begin working with Comprise. So I'm hoping in the next week or so, they will finish that all up, and then we will be able to install Comprise and start to do training with the staff. Because once we can do that, then we'll be ready to open up on a limited basis to having access to computers. But we first have to get the software installed, and then we have to have our staff trained and whatnot, and put in all of the behind the scenes kinds of things that will make it work, and see if there's any additional equipment or whatever that we need to buy to make it work. But we are a big step closer to this happening. So I'm really pleased with that. One of the other things was on March the 2nd, we did have a men's health program, which was sponsored by our All of Us Award from the National Networks of Libraries of Medicine. And in that program, Scott did a presentation on Medline Plus. We had Rebecca do a presentation on Jobs Now, she and Marisha. Marquita did a presentation on Interplay. And then we had a man named Demetrius Johnson, I believe his name was. He did a presentation on legitimization for men in working with the courts and working with others to legitimize their children and their rights and responsibilities that are afforded to them with if they're not the custodial parent of a child, that kind of thing. So it turned out to be a really good program. And I do believe we taped it. So it is one that we will continue to play as a part of the Clayton County Health District is what the health department calls themselves now. They have a community action network, which I am a part of, Rebecca is a part of, and Scott is a part of. And they are doing a lot of different kinds of programs. So on the subcommittee that I sit on, one of those is for fatherhood. And with that subcommittee, we're going to do 3 or 4 men's health programs. So this was just the first in the series, and we will get together and then do some more programming just for men, because we have recognized that men's health is a important issue, but one that is not getting as much traction as some of the other health topics. One of the other things, we did open the Northwest Library on March 1st. So it has been operational for about a week or so now. And we are getting people in the community finding out about it. Our sign out on the road is now functional. So now we're telling people that we're open on the sign. So little by little, people are finding out about it. And I spoke to Commissioner Hambrick, and she's still kind of leery about having a big to-do. So it will probably be either later in the spring or early in the summer, when a lot of people have gotten their vaccination, that we may have a big formal open house for the library. But we will let you know when plans are being made for that to happen. And the Jonesboro Library, they have not found another location for that library yet. They are doing assessments and looking at what they're going to need to do in order to take the building down. But we have been kind of given a timetable that from somewhere between now and 6 months, they will kind of know what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. So we're in the process now of looking at things that we need to box up now that we can box up, but we will need to find out if there's another building that they're going to give us, or what's going to happen when we talk about moving the collection, because I really would like to move it just one time. So to pack it up, move it to a different location and not have to store it or do anything like that. So we're going to play it by ear for right now until we find out a little bit more about what buildings may be available or what the county's ideas are for relocating the Jonesboro Library. But for now, as Rebecca mentioned, the services are continuing. The only thing that's not really continuing is people putting things on hold and picking them up from the Jonesboro Library. So if they need to put stuff on hold, they can pick it up from the headquarters library, that kind of thing, or use one of the other branches. But I think those are the major things. Oh, there is one other thing, but I think I'll wait because I think it's been added to the agenda. So I'll wait and talk about that later. Are there other questions for me?
No, but
I had, no, you go ahead. You go ahead, Ms. Bone.
Okay, I just want to thank Director Lett for speaking to my group, the senior group for Black History. She did an outstanding job and she was well received, and they truly enjoyed her. And we do look forward to seeing her again, have her speak with us again. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Director Lett, I have a question about the first on the disaster plan. You said we're still waiting to provide access to the computers because we're having issues. This seems to be a running problem. Like, do we know when this is going to be resolved?
We actually don't. Every time we have issues, we have to contact IT, and IT comes in and they do their evaluations and whatnot, but they don't tell us, well, Roz, this is the problem and it's going to take us a week to fix it. They'll kind of, because like with Riverdale, it took them months. They brought in a networking specialist and he or she still didn't get it fixed. So we're kind of at their mercy because we don't have people who fix computers. So we have to depend on the county's IT department for that piece. But with this comprise, this has been a negotiation behind the scenes. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for the computer companies, their contracts are pretty much ironclad. And when our attorneys look at them and want them to make concessions or changes, they aren't willing a lot of times to make those concessions because they know if we don't buy it, somebody else will. So they pretty much have the upper hand when it comes to negotiations. So they kind of worked through some terms to get it where it was at least palatable and our legal folks could, agree on some things. So they said they have finally reached an agreement, but it has taken, they told us initially, we talked to them in October and we decided we were going to buy this in November, December. They said it would be up and functional by January, which has nowhere near happened. So here we are in March and we might get it in place all together and working by April. But when it comes to computer issues, we're at the mercy of other people.
So this issue, does it Does it impact staff, or is it if people were coming into the building to use the computer services? What's the impact of it?
The impact of the networking issues are the computers that are public access computers. So those are the computers that the public would use. Now we've had some issues with our computers too, but we tend to have to try to work around it or do something else. But for the public computers, when the network has issues or when they have issues with the IP address or other stuff like that, it impacts the information that is sent over to those computers. And those computers are kind of on their own server. So they are a little different from the ones that we use for staff behind the scenes.
So is it one of those things, if one is down, all of them is down?
Sometimes yes, other times no, it depends. Because sometimes there may be certain ones that have issues, because we have a lot of computers that are older and dated. So a lot of them don't have the capacity to run the software and the equipment that's in them in today's standards. So we have a lot of them that need to be replaced. So it could be that 5 or 6 of them are not working, but those 5 or 6 were bought 10 years ago and haven't been replaced. And we're not really sure if there is a timetable or what that timetable is for the county refreshing. A lot of the new computers we have gotten have been things that we have written in the grant. So when I write grants and I write in laptops and tablets and those kind of things, we get updated equipment. But a lot of our VPNs that are on the floor are sponsored by the county. So they don't necessarily get updated as often as some of the others might, or traded out as often as the others.
And I guess I'm just worried about the citizens, because there are some people who don't have computers and they rely on the library. And I see every month we still have this issue. I'm like, well, when are they going to have access to computers? So I just wanted to get more clarification.
Even when we get them all fixed, we're still going to have to be on this graduated schedule, because people used to come in and use computers, and some of them would stay 2 and 3 and 4 hours. We can't permit that now. So we're still going to have to figure out a way that they can come in for limited amounts of time. And we have social distancing computers and taking a lot of them out, but we've got to make sure that the back end of the network is working, because we don't want to get them in and then everything crashes. And now they're really upset because they came in, but nothing works.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you.
I have a question, because I'm feeling like the vice chair here on this same issue, and the common denominator for these ongoing not to be fixed or repaired is based on the county. So if it's based on the county, what kind of intervention that the board, as the governing board, can take in? Because this is we serve under the state, and the state required that this is public uses to be in service. So if I have to call the state librarian and saying that we're not able to function to our fullest capacity, and this need to be reported, how can, and I know the county, I do understand the county paid most of our money that comes in, but which is still retained to the county responsibility, because they're quick to say this is the county building. So any maintenance of upgrade or anything, that's on the county to do. So we're at the mercy, but even though we're at the mercy, they have to take in consideration that we're here at the mercy of the public. In doing so, they expect a certain level of service, regardless behind the scenes who's responsible, who's not responsible. The citizen can care less. They just want you to do your job. So if that's part of the county and the commissioners are over that, why is not a priority or some kind of time sensitive on their schedule to make sure that everybody is in compliance, so that when we have to do our report to the state, we can't tell them, well, we had to be out of service. So a lot of our citizens are complaining because we're waiting on the county. And even though their line items and budget should be included in that, to make sure anything that is for the buildings that they reside, they need to make sure that they put enough money in that budget so that we're not delaying 6 months, 7 months, and then we got to keep getting these answers to the citizens that is not a due just service for them. They elected certain people to be in positions, so they are counting on them to do what they say that they're going to do for the citizens. And then if they can't do it, then the citizen needs to be aware so they can have somebody that can make sure everything is that's supposed to be given to them is given to them on a timely basis.
Okay, so what's the question in that?
So the question is, do the board need to make an address to the Board of Commissioners to let them know that on either side, we both hold an obligation as us being a governing board. We have our duty to make sure that we uphold the services that it is said in public record that these are the services that we will provide to the public. And if the public is reading that and stating that, what do we have to in our defense to say, I know it's public information. I know that we are publicly supposed to provide these things to you, but really it's not the library issue, is who you really want to address this to, is the county. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting the order of change of command so that everybody can understand that every individual entity plays a big role in all of us functioning together, and no one of agency has a more bigger priority than the other one because we're dedicated to be a servant for the citizens.
Well, we have been getting good response from the county as far as them sending our tech over, but we don't have 3 or 4 or 5 techs. We have one tech who works for all of our libraries, but she works for other departments as well. But we have been getting good response from her coming over, getting stuff fixed. And like I said, they brought in specialists to look at the computers at Riverdale because they could not get them to work right or couldn't get the network back up. So we have been getting good response from them, but unfortunately, stuff just doesn't happen overnight. And we're doing what we can do to get to the point of getting this stuff up.
I think what I'm hearing, and I share your frustration, Madam Vice Chair, and Madam Chair, I'm sorry. And I think we all do, because I've been on this board since June and we've been having computer issues since then. So probably it preceded before I got on. And so at this point, what I'm hearing the chair say, what can we as a board do to try to expedite this? Because I think this is kind of chronic right now. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but thank God for COVID, I guess, because it's because of COVID, people are not coming to utilize the service. But what if they were?
It's kind of because of COVID that things have slowed down, because before COVID, we did have some issues, but we had more of a team of folks who would come to fix our stuff. And now because of COVID, a lot of their people are out of pocket and whatnot. So nobody is kind of functioning at 100%, I would say it like that. And because of COVID too, we have our disaster plan in place. And until the numbers of COVID have improved, we're at the point of not necessarily letting people in to do computers anyway. So it kind of worked itself that it was good timing for it to be down because the impact was not as great. But we're getting to the point now with people being vaccinated and other stuff that the numbers are better. And we are getting to the point where we need to open for computers. So,
so is it possible because of COVID, they haven't been fast to address this situation because they figure people are not coming in the libraries anyway, so we can kind of take our time with it? I just don't understand why it's taking this long.
I think part of it may be their limited personnel as well. I'll say it like that. Because as I said, they have been responsive, and Lisa comes, when she can come, but a lot of times she gets diverted to places where the priority is higher than library. And sometimes that's the reality. So, they've been working steadily to get our stuff up, and we've been keeping in touch with Jason to let him know when things are down, and they're down for a while, and and he sends people through. So I've been on him about this Comprise, because Comprise is the back end that the patrons don't really know very much about, but it impacts things that will happen in the future. And one of the things we did not want to do was open and give them access to the computer with the older stuff, and then have to shut it down, install the new stuff, do the training, and then teach them a whole new way of doing it.
Right, and I agree with you, Director Letts, but we know now that it's been publicly announced that the officially school will be open in person by April the 12th, even though parents still got a choice, but because of state testing and everything, they need to come in person. So like you said, everything is about to change because everybody's getting vaccine now. So, and according to the president, everybody should be by the end of May, if not by the 1st of June. So the point is to be proactive. Now that we know this information is about to occur, we need to be already in action. Like, okay, you're going to have to start making it a priority because time going to keep ticking and you ain't got that much time to keep ticking no more. So I will recommend.
Yeah, we need to escalate. It
Yeah,
needs to be escalated.
So with your help, Director Letts, I would like for us to submit up a joint type of letter to let it be known to the board because of everything is getting ready to be superseded. Everything is moving up in time that people did not expect things to be opened up. And like you said, everybody, as far as when I say everybody, the government system is ready to put everything back to 100% because they in a crisis with no money flowing in on a 0.5% performance. They're not bringing the income and stuff like people need. So we're going to have to get back to 100%. So when they open up that gateway, we need to be ready to be opened up too. So, but I appreciate your insight. I appreciate your report that was given. And I thank you for allowing you to speak freely. So to let us know what's really going on. And I thank you very much for that. Anything else you want to add and bring to our attention, Director Letts?
No, I think that gets it.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So at this time, I think I got through everybody. Did I overlook any of the reports from any of the assistant directors? Okay, if not, then we'll move on to our financial report.
Are there any questions about the financials? Okay.
All right. Okay, so I'm just like to make a motion that we go ahead and accept the finance report just for record keeping to be in the minutes. Motion to have the finance report to be documented in the minutes.
I move that we make a motion that we would add the financial report to the minutes for March 9th meeting.
I second that.
Okay, any questions? No question. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
All opposed say nay. All right, so be it. So the financial report is going to be included in the minutes. Thank you so very much. Next, we will have the board committee reports. And if Madam Secretary could just go around and just ask if the board has any. I know y'all been sharing it in between reports and with the assistant director and director reports of what you've been involved. So we can go from there. Madam Secretary.
Yes, ma'am. So that are there any board reports that are ready to report? Any committees? Finance committee? No?
No.
Okay. Relations and Advocacy Committee, Ms. Carter. Okay, Ms. Perry, do you want to give any updates?
I do not have any updates, but I hate that I missed the opening. Looked like it was wonderful. So again, just continuing to share across our media site.
Okay, great. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, and Emmanuel?
No comment, no ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And I think Belinda really hit on a lot of topics.
Yes.
That didn't leave much for you to do, Emmanuel. Okay. And Ms. Blackwood, do you have anything to report?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I think she shared it in the beginning and everything.
She
So kudos to you and thank you for that information. So that's why I said a lot of y'all gave y'all report, not realizing you gave it in between information. So kudos to all of y'all. Thank y'all, trustees. Excellent job.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And
So
Mr. McAllen, anything you need to share?
The only impact that I can see is the change to the bylaws about these virtual meetings and the state requirement to go to in-person meetings and how that's going to possibly impact if we don't resume next month's meeting face to face.
Absolutely. And that is one of our line items under new business. So we will be discussing that tonight. Thank you.
Other than that, I don't have anything.
Okay.
okay. Thank you, Bob. Okay, that sounds like that includes all our board committee reports, Madam Secretary.
That is absolutely correct.
Okay, thank you so much. So at this time, I supposed to have done this during the public comments, but very, very briefly, I wanted to state that this was a year from today that last March, we had talked about bringing community people into and giving them a recognition that the library do see what you're doing and we appreciate the service that you're providing in literacy and promoting advocacy for the library. So I wanted to bring it back. I wanted to bring it back with all the stuff that's been going on with coronavirus. So I would like to recognize, and everybody knows I'm not good with names or pronouncing words. So I thank y'all so much for being so having mercy on me. So with that being said, I like for Miss Perry to introduce the name of the organization, and that's going to be the organization that we recognize for this month. And if she can share with us the reason why her organization was selected, and it was selected by me because of the things that they do, and I can't do it because nobody can tell nobody's story but themselves. So Miss Perry.
Oh, thank you, Director. So the organization I have founded is Melanated Pearl Corporation. We are a 501c3 located here in Clayton County. Melanated refers to the fact that we do focus on services for Black women, which right now in Clayton County, women-led households and Black female-led households are the leading households, so providing services for that target audience. And PEARL stands for Passionate, Engaged, Activists, Resisting Limits. Right now, we are focused on eviction prevention and providing rental assistance throughout the county. And our mission is to educate, uplift, and empower. So we'll be providing wraparound services. We do have an event coming up on March 21st, which is going to be a Sunday shopping opportunity, head to toe essentials from food to clothes. We'll have senior hours from 10 to 12, but it'll really be a community event. For anything that you may need, you can stop by and it'll be at B. Mari. So we are highlighting community businesses who are partnering with nonprofits to really serve. So thank you for the moment to highlight. I know we have some other nonprofit leaders here. So kudos to you all. I am definitely among greats in the Clayton County community. So
Ms.
thank
Perry, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
So could other women come to this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not discriminate.
Okay. I just, I know when we say up color,
That's
maybe,
a good question.
So I just want to make sure that it's open to all women.
You did
a great question. One of the things we talk about. Yes, one of the things we actually talk about when we study science, if you think about melanin, which is part of the reason of the name, is that all DNA, every DNA that's found on the earth is actually in the DNA of melanated women. And because
And we all have melanin.
we all have exactly. And so we don't discriminate, but in thinking about Clayton County and the shift, we do want to highlight that we have one female leaders in our county. Shout out to us if you've not seen our just the leadership in Clayton, but female-led households. And as we are in this pandemic, if you are looking at research, we are also the first ones, essential workers. Right now, women are deciding between employment and children. Unfortunately, I think I read something that said 1 out of 4 career women are thinking about leaving their careers so they can support their children. So we think about all of these things that really are female-led household issues, and how can we be support to help them resist those limits. So just kind of going back to that name, but thank you for that, because we do not discriminate, and we also serve males as well.
That was my question.
Yes, again,
that was my question from Bob and Emmanuel.
Yes, because we serve Clayton County, and as I said, our target is Black women, because we want to highlight, with the elections and those things. I think 20 years ago, Clayton was different, and now we want to make sure that people are aware of our community makeup and that the resources follow that makeup.
Can I ask a question as?
Absolutely, Mr. Bob.
What about the Hispanics and the Oriental population? There's a big shift in there.
Absolutely. Again, I would say we do not discriminate. Actually, as we were able to put about $30,000 in the community, and I could say we have served men, we have served people who are non-binary, LGBT community, and right now with data, it shows that the largest demographic living in poverty in Clayton County are women 25 to 34 and 6 through 11, which very likely are the children of the women 24 to 34. So we can provide those wraparound services. And again, I want to say we do not discriminate. We just want to focus in on the target population for Clayton, but all are welcome on Sunday and at any point, because we serve Clayton.
Where is this event going to take place?
It is going to take place at B. Mari's Event Studio in downtown Jonesboro. If you've ever been to the courthouse, it is a brick building right next door. Shout out to our little museum. It is literally across from the railroad tracks. If you've ever seen.
And Mari is a great caterer too.
It is. Nice what we want to celebrate. We're going to have some inspirational speakers, but we're going to have bags, and it really is going to be a shop till you drop experience, trying to make sure that some people, diapers, feminine products, there are some things that we must spend money on. And if we can help the community to give those things, then they can take those funds and buy food or medication or get caught up on rent. So that's the idea of, if you can't provide financial assistance, what other resources can we provide? And
excuse
Dr.
me a
Lynch,
second.
Your hand up.
Hey, excuse me a second. I have a carbon monoxide emergency here, so I'm
oh my goodness
out. So we got to see what's going on. But the fire department.
Go ahead and exit.
Be safe, please.
Yes. Okay. All right. So while she's taking taking care of that.
One more time, please.
The address, Ms. Perry.
So the name of the organization
is Melanated Pearl. MELANATED. So think of melanin, melanated.
Do you have
a website?
Absolutely do, and I can drop that in the chat box for everybody.
Okay.
And it
awesome.
is melanatedpearlcorp.agnescott.org, but I would definitely drop it in the chat.
Awesome. So I was the first to go ahead and start this back up again, since it was a year from today. And of course, we all know this is March Women Recognition Month as well. So we happen to have someone on board, and a woman, and also doing awesome things in the community as well. So if anybody else as the trustees want to drop a name and say, hey, I want to recognize so-and-so for April, somebody for May, somebody for June, that's another way for us trustees, again, that they're being advocates and bringing people to say, hey, you're not going unnoticed. Somebody see you. So we see people all day long as the trustees. So this is another way in a twofold as advocating and also getting people back involved with the library. So thank you again, Miss Perry. And I just thank you for all that you do. I really do. So I just feel like you should be recognized of your organization. And maybe a lot of people did not know the whole concept of what you have done. And I was enlightened to hear about what you do.
Well, thank you so much. And I will say also just, I definitely use the resources to the library, which is why I'm always asking about recordings. Because another thing that we've been doing is seeking out jobs on the South Side and posting them weekly. So that's just another service, because actually searching for jobs, everybody here knows, is a job in itself. And so if you just trying to reduce the stress. And so I just always highlight the library because I love our financial literacy. I do think that we serve the community. It's a high level, as I say, we're 21st century appropriate. And so just as a nonprofit leader, I am truly proud to be on our board because I'm always able to talk about the library and how it can help me to continue to support the community. So thank you again. And as I said, I'm among greats. I know there's some other nonprofit leaders here with me. And if ever there's an opportunity partnership for Clayton, I am on board.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you to the, I'm
Hello,
just
man.
sure to say pearls. Thank you to the pearls.
Hello,
So,
man.
oh
Yeah,
yes,
this
I'm
is
sorry, Emmanuel.
yes, man. Long time. How you doing, man? Okay, now I think I find it very difficult to say what I want to say now because somebody just texted me to tell me that I need to say to um, last year, February 27th, the resolution was given to my tribe. And we're about, during the slavery time from Yoruba land, more than 30 million of people were taken from that particular place to different parts of countries around the world. And they are in Brazil, Cuba, about 17 countries that you find my tribe. And we are also in USA. And presently, we have about 15 of my tribe that are working with Joe Biden now. And one of them is my brother, who happened to be the deputy treasurer for the whole United States. And we share the same name. And last year I was given a resolution to be able to bring awareness of that particular tribe by the governor in collaboration with Stova, to bring awareness of that particular tribe into United States. So we are doing a kind of a virtual celebration of that, our heritage and culture. And we are going to do it on the 27th of March. We wanted to do it February 27th before, but we extended it so that we can get more publicity for people to be able to watch us virtually, and it's going to be free. And then we just want people to be more aware of what our tribe and what we are doing and the part that we are playing in United States. So I was just tested this as I was listening to what you are talking now. Somebody said I should pass the information to, and at the same time, I will send the flyer to you all, and especially to my director, let's there, so that we know how we can be able to. We are not going to meet, but we already have a virtual studio we are going to use, and we're already going to connect to Germany. We have a lot of my tribe in Germany. We have them in Europe. We have them in Brazil. So they are going to connect. So it's going to be a kind of a global event that all these our people will show their heritage. And even though it's difficult for them to practice their culture and their heritage, but they still survive in the midst of those particular things. So I'm just saying it now that I'm going to further the flyer, the website, and the whole things to you possibly within 2 weeks, within 2 days, I will let all of you have those information. I just want you to know quite right that this is our month, and I'm so excited to see how we can share those particular things among our brothers and sisters that are here, because we have a lot to share together, and we can be able to tap from one another. And we are going to have people from Brazil, because we have a lot of our people in Brazil there, and that are of my own tribe. And we have them in UK. We have a lot of them here and there, but about 3 or 10 countries, let's say 7 countries, will actually be connected to us on that day, whereby they will show a lot of their heritage, their culture, and their fashion, and their style, and their cultural value, which will be a kind of a great education for most of us that we are all Black in this community. I just want to pass those information to all of you that on the 27th, please come and celebrate with us.
Okay, well, thank you, Emmanuel. That was kind of heavy and deep and very good, rich history.
Absolutely.
And we need to make sure that we bring the students out and the kids and stuff like that, because that's what we are in the midst of talking about history. So
Yes,
thank you so much, Emmanuel. We look forward to that flyer so that we can participate in any way that we can. Okay.
Okay, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yes, man.
Thank you.
Yes,
All
man.
right.
Thank you, man.
So let's move on to our unfinished business. And we have the friends. Oh, that's me. We have the Friends of the Library closeout. So I'm quite sure that all the Board of Trustees received a package in the mail, or I probably hand delivered you a package that came from the Friends of the Library. I'm not going to go into too much of details, because I believe what was written in the package gave you a good overview from the Friends of the Library. So the update that I have to bring tonight is that Director-elect was sent a check of the remaining balance from what was left with the Friends of the Library. So actually, they're going to be having a meeting coming up soon, as they notated in that package. So they'll let us know once they come with their organization, their people, executive board, how they're going to move forward. And like I said, the invitation is always open to the Friends of the Library at any time that they want to start back up a partnership or relationship. Our arms of the library, the branches is open, and also to the Board of Trustees as well. But this will be closed out as far as unfinished business. We have received the check that was the remaining that was due back to the library. So any questions about that?
I don't necessarily have a question. More so, I think, and you said that, you know, there's an open invitation for them to come on. And I did receive, I was like, why is the county, what is this? But I did receive the letter, and I feel like they may have felt slighted based on our last conversation, to the point where they felt the need to do a lot of rebuttal. And I think in the interest of not burning bridges, because we are trying to get partnerships and things like that, at the very least, we need to have them on our live meeting so they can speak their piece, because it was a very public thing that we did. And some of what they said was said at our last meeting was not correct. So I would hate for that to stay out there and to make it seem like we're sweeping things under the rug, because personally, I don't want to be a part of that.
Okay, so thank you, Vice Chair, for that and those suggestions. And those suggestions did go forth, and I did send them the code, the information to join in our meeting tonight, and I sent them the agenda, so they are aware that they was on the agenda to have their open time on the floor. And yes, I did receive the same thing from the package, which that was never my intent, but I was communicating, as you can see, the numerous of email they was able to pull down and everything, but trying to talk to multiple people, and I constantly try to reach out to the main person for clarity and direction to speak, voice to voice, because things can be interpreted in many ways through emails and text messages that pretty much can be easy resolved if we was talking towards each other and stuff like that. I hate that they feel that way, but I do apologize from the bottom of my heart. That was never an intention of mine, but receiving information from several different people and continue to ask for understanding and guidance, and also with the invitation twice last month and this month to have their voice heard on our public board meeting. They had the option to do so, and all communication was extended to them with open arms, with open hearts. And like I said, it's a village. We need
Right.
everybody. We can't
And
do
let me
anything
just
without ourselves.
let me
So
just clarify. I didn't perceive any malice coming from you. It's just that I didn't because it seems like it's a close out. I did want to say on record that we're not trying to sweep it under the rug. If they feel that some things were said that, you know, obviously they're not happy about, it was done in a very public forum, and any apologies that we may need to make need to be done as public as well.
yes.
And I really love that what you just said as far as apologizing and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, because there's no intention to be that I heard that they was a very valuable access to the library, and anybody that's a valuable access, of course, we want to know, hey, let's reconnect, let's rekindle, as they say, let's bring this relationship back. You know, how you feel, how I feel. Hey, it's been a long time. So, you know, that's pretty much the approach that I was taking to say, hey, you know what? Let's come back and do what we can do together. We got the same goal, the same mission, and the same purpose. So, but I think I made it kind of clear. And if I didn't, I'll make it clear again in public view that please, you're always welcome. We're just saying it's a closeout where it's not going to be back on our agenda. But the doors is always open for discussion, for communication. And I believe after they get a chance to have their meeting and everything, then I think they'll reach out to us and let us know which way they would like to proceed. But we're open for them to be a part of us. And that is on the record. We want you to be part of us. So thank you very much, Mapella, Vice Chair, for
Madam Chair,
yes.
I believe Janice Securia, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, is part of Friends of the Library. And just an FYI, I did see her as a participant in the meeting earlier, but
Oh,
she is not here now. So maybe she had to check out. So I just wanted
okay.
to point that out, that if that's the right name and person, she was
Okay.
present.
And like I said, I just didn't send it to the main person that addressed us in the package. I made sure that everybody that was on that email thread was given the access code to join in this meeting. And I know I got one back from the main person, the president, said he had other prior engagements that he couldn't attend, but I still extended to the rest of his board to please come on and be and giving them the access code and also the agenda. So everything is transparent, everything is open in the front and everything. And that's kind of board that we are representing as the Board of Trustees. We want to make sure that everything that we know, you know. So if anybody has any other comments about the Friends of the Library.
I know, again, I just want to thank you, Madam Chair and Vice Chair, for bringing it back to the forefront so that we have an opportunity to set the record straight. I'm thankful for your apology. And again, that goes on behalf of all of us, because I do think communication is key. And just want to reiterate that a closeout from our agenda is not a close or end of the conversation. And so, as you know, people may come back later, that the conversation, if it needs to happen, we as a board are still open. So thank you for that clarification. from both of our leaders, because that shows that we are on the same pathway.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So on the unfinished business, we have the water and soil conservation update. I don't know if Mr. Recklett was able to get back on. I know she had an emergency.
I think I saw her pop in for a little bit.
Okay. And I'm not all this good technology.
But she's not here now.
She's not here now. So I can speak a little bit about the soil and conservation since I am one of the district supervisors. So the reason why the water and soil conservation is on the agenda, they had sent, when I say they, soil and conservation, submitted a MOU or MOA on the behalf of the library. Director Let said if we're going to do any type of partnership or any engaging, that it need to be in writing with an MOU so everybody can understand their mutual role and what's being played. And in that, the soil and conservation department will be furnishing and working with a couple of the library branches to start up gardens. So they're gonna supply all the material, all the stuff. So nothing coming out of the budget line for the library is nothing requesting from the Board of Commissioners. This is from the soil and conservation so that we can continue to advocate and educate why soil and water conservation is very important and plays a big role in our daily lives and getting our young people educated. And what another best way to partner up with the library, where it's a source where they can come and get that information and also have the hands-on experience and going out there in the garden and putting their hands in the dirt and picking stuff, whatever they produce and harvest and everything. And then the food and whatever is harvest and produce and stuff like that, it's welcome to all the community in the area. So you at the library, come and check out a book and you look in the garden, that's a good juicy strawberry, pick it and eat it. It's yours. So that's the concept of that is open for additional education and for the staff to also use that as a institution of a lesson plan or something like that to talk about the STEM, to talk about science and so many other gateway into education that they can get their hands-on experience.
So with the garden, will community have access? How will food be distributed? And just for a flag, how are we protected if someone gets a tomato and they say that it doesn't, maybe not for this, but those are just kind of things that popped in my head. Although I love a community garden.
So a little bit about that. They are going to be popping up a little bit of everywhere. The MOU that was submitted to the director, in which she in turn sent it to the commissioners, the Board of Commissioners. So everybody is transparent. Everybody know what's going on. So in that agreement, it was letting know both parties, which is the library and also the commissioners, know that the soil and water conservation is the sole proprietor of taking and maintaining this garden. And everybody have to use the garden as they see fit and everything. So if a petition needs to be around the garden or a gate or something like that, just to protect, because we do have wildlife. We're not just talking about people. I still have the deers and the coyote that come in my yard. So I know Miss Perry can relate because we don't live that far from each other. So the deer still comes out. So from those purposes too, we, those issues from those sites could let the soil and water conservation know. We put in a request for some grants or some money so that we can build some type of protection. Coming from the farm myself, we had a lot of that, so we know. So like I said, to address that question that you had, Miss Perry, yes, that would be, we appreciate the feedbacks because that's the only way we'll know what we need to do to make things better and still make the community feel safe and secure.
So I have a question, Madam Chair. So how far are we into this partnership? When can we expect to have some strawberries?
I know that's right.
Oh my God. Okay, so once the Board of Commissions, once they review the MOU, it has been sent up. The Soil and Conservation did their part, and I personally hand carried it to Miss Director Let. So she sent it on up to the commissioner. So once the commissioners go through their protocol or what they need to do or say to give us the green light, and then you'll see equipments and everything start hauling in, and you like, wow, we getting started. So we can't do anything to all the upper people do what they need to do. And once that green light is hit, because the soil and water conservation is ready, they're like, we order your materials, where you want to deliver that. And we made a delivery at the Lovejoy branch, and Lovejoy branch and Mr. Scott jumped in and said, no, 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 no. We can't accept our stuff because they haven't been approved. So I appreciate that everybody's on top of their game, and not out of disrespect for nobody, but just making sure we all cover each other back and do things in decency and in order. So the soil and conservation was able to move the material to a site at 7 Pillars that already been approved through their school to have it done. So we do have one garden already up and functioning, and the other person on the soil and conservation is Mr. Parker. So y'all won't be seeing me out there doing the garden. I'm not that lady, but we do have a team of people that's on board with that. And then we also have the UGA extension. They have partnered up with the soil and conservation, so they have master gardeners that's there. So they'll be coming out and helping. If the library staff need extra experts, they can call a master gardener to come out and then do some interaction with students as part of a program. In the school age, the school system have access to it as well. So it's open for everybody. So Mapilla, as soon as they give us that green light, you can get your strawberries. Cucumbers, watermelons, it's coming in. So, all right. So that's where we at with the water and soil and conservation of the update. So now we're going to move into our new business. Our nomination.
Chair, yeah. Did we have the logo?
The logo discussion.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I don't have my little pen writing down and stuff. So thank you. Yeah, so we amended the agenda to add item letter C on the agenda for unfinished business. And so it's about the logo and the design that last month Vice Chair Mapilla was so really on point with her presentation that we strongly recommended that she presented to the board of commissioners for another look at it again, a second look. So with that, and I don't think the rest is still back on the phone yet. So I'm gonna share what I do know. Oh no, she's on here.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna stop there with my part of saying that the board approved from Vice Chair Mapilla to submit the to ask for permission to be presented at one of their work session or either the board meeting itself to get us in. So from that point, I'm gonna let you take it from there, the torch, and say your part, what you did from there.
Well, 1 second, because I didn't know if Director Lett was on. Did she, Director Lett, did you have anything extra to add to the water and soil conservative update? Because I think you were asking about.
No.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Lett, with the logo design to merge in with the county. Yes.
At the last meeting, you all recommended that we send in the legislative requests to have Vice Chair Dawn on the agenda for the work session meeting for the board. And that request was rejected by the COO, but he sent an email which did not come for a while, and I finally did see it. And in the email, because on the rejection slip, it said refer to communications. And as I expressed, I wasn't sure if that meant I needed to get in touch with communications or that he was getting in touch with communications and they would be in touch with me. So subsequently after the meeting, I did get an email from the guy who is, I guess, their team lead for the Total Marketing, which is the company that created the logo. And he wanted to meet to kind of talk about the logo. And I guess from what Dietrich shared with him, what I shared in the legislative request, which was the library has had a logo for 7 years. We have an identity, and we want to figure out if there's a way that we can keep some of our identity and do some kind of hybrid with the logo, or do something where we aren't totally throwing away what we had in the past. So we tried to set up a meeting. That didn't happen, but last week, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, something like that, we did get a chance to talk, and he talked about and explained the fire department and the police department and the logo that they had kind of come up with for them. And what they did was took their existing logo and put the new county logo kind of in the middle, like a crest or something. So it's kind of in the middle of theirs. So we talked, and Marquita and Scott was on the phone as well. And we talked about some of the things that were bothersome, I guess, or some of the things that didn't sit quite right with the new logo where they have sent to us. Because what they did, they took the new logo and they put library services under the bottom, and they sent us all these different kind of looks at it, and they sent it to all the departments like that. But there were some things that we asked if you could change this and move that, because one of the things that is common to our logo and the county's logo is that all of the colors are the same. The shades are a little different, but all of the basic colors are the same: the green, the orange, the purple, so all of them. So we did have a conversation, and he said he would take those notes back to his team and kind of see what they would come up with. But he mentioned over and over and over again that, well, no matter what we do, it still is at the mercy of the Board of Commissioners to decide whether or not they're going to let you use it. And I said, yeah, we understand that. But because the COO asked, if we had had a chance to talk to them, and I told him, no, we hadn't. But then we did talk to them last week, but we have not seen anything that they have produced. And once it is produced, we're still going to have to take it back to the Board of Commissioners. So I thought that Ms. Dawn was going to do her presentation tonight, because it would have go ahead and set up the stage for them to at least know that we wanted to make some concessions and make some changes with the logo if that was possible. So at this point, we're still pretty much where we were. They're working on trying to see what they can do with some fonts and some other things. And we did mention the fact that our logo has a C and the county's logo kind of has a C. And if it can be positioned kind of where ours was, it would at least look similar to what we had before. So it won't totally throw us off our game and totally get us out of being recognized for the logo that we have presented. So we're still waiting to get information back from them as to how this would look and whatever, and if this is something that would be acceptable for us to even move forward with. So at this point, we're still in waiting.
Can we send
Well,
Vice Chair's presentation to them?
I beg your pardon?
Can we send Vice Chair's presentation to them so they can actually see our vision?
Well, if I may step in, Madam Secretary, I think it's the number one, the reason why I did not present tonight is because this was complete. I feel like we are not all on the same page because different conversations are being had. I wasn't even going to be talking about a new logo. I didn't even know that's a conversation that we were having. So what I feel like that's a question they may have asked me while I was there. And for a board member who's coming there, and I was very much going to be presenting on all of our behalf, but they have information that I had no idea of. I'm just now hearing the whole thing. The email that I sent everyone is basically what I had access to. So my thing is, were we not on the same page? Because again, I didn't just get up and say, okay, let me go present to the board. We had some options. I feel like if a redesign was part of the solution, then the board should know about that. I had no clue that we were looking at redesigning something. So that's why I decided to pull back. I don't mind giving the presentation. It's just that I received that email maybe less than 30 minutes before I could present. And I felt like, okay, this looked like we're not all on the same accord as it appeared. And that's where I was coming from with it.
Define all. Are you speaking
I
of the
want to know.
board?
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I asked the question. The email that I sent, is this the steps that were being taken by Director Lett? Is that something that we approved of? Maybe I wasn't aware of, because again, I didn't know we were trying to create a new logo. I didn't know that this is something that the Board of Commission was. I didn't know of the talk that was happening. If that makes sense.
No,
There were two.
I still think you should have presented your proposal, because we had talked about it, and as a board, we had concurred that that's what we wanted, is what your presentation talked about. Now, what Ms. Lett brought up was a suggestion from the COO. So it wasn't that it was her idea. It was something that was suggested and she followed through on it. But as far as I was concerned, our mind was made up and we knew what we wanted. And
well, there's a whole nother conversation that was taking place.
But that didn't have anything to do with us. That was the COO and the director.
But it has to do with the logo in question, the matter in which I am presenting about. It had to do with it. It had to do with the logo. Okay, here I am in one presentation. I have 3 different options that we as a board, the library system is, thinking about. But on the other hand, there's a whole nother conversation going on to where we're looking at redesigning a new logo. So you don't see the conflict, the mixed messaging?
Well, I want to just say, listen to what you're saying and hearing the people that's involved. I think between the COO getting involved, and we requested to see and was on the agenda to see the Board of Commission for you to present before them. Now, from my understanding,
Madam Chair,
I know. Wait a minute. From what I'm taking, it was a talk between COO on his own behalf, but not saying I'm representing the commissioners to make this suggestion, and asking Director Lett for her suggestion. So what I'm getting is that somewhere in the translation here, we as the board member was still under the impression that you was going to do your presentation. Whatever sidebar conversation that they had does not override what we agreed for you to do, and we appointed you to do that task and to carry it out. Because if it was something that was going to be finalized to say, hey, yes, you're right, the follow change of command should have been reported, that it should have been reported to me that, hey, Squash McPillar going to this and then that, they came up with this idea. Who is they? They would have to be the approval of the Board of Commissioners and the marketing team. But if 2 people having a conversation, I'm not aware to say that it was finalized. If it ain't finalized, we still in the game making to make a change.
Well, that's where communication comes in. If anything, knowing that I'm going to present, if there are other options on the table, because here I am, again, you all were going to be in a meeting. I'm over there representing the board and blindsided by this whole idea that there's even the idea of redesigning a new logo. That's something, you don't think that would have came up?
No, what I'm saying, that's daily operation. Wait a minute. Director Lett is talking to daily operation with the COO, which who he is in operating in daily operation. If I'm looking at it, it did not come to me as a board chair. It was not told to me that we're going to go this route. So let your people, let your board of trustees know. I was never informed of that. What Mr. Director just said, that they have a conversation, they were going over it, did not override what you was going to present today and tonight. So when
Okay.
I saw you on the call tonight, I'm like, she's supposed to be in a meeting. I already knew that I was going to
And
let.
I also emailed the entire board because I needed clarification, and I didn't completely squash it. I just feel like with that, with the new development, we needed to talk about it. I'm not understanding how the connection is not being made, because the COO is the same person declined me, and so we were going to take from that. But he's also the same person who's having a conversation about the logo and a redesign. And that's something that we had not even talked about. So,
well, in the
comfortably,
initial,
I would have.
In the initial legislative request, I did mention to you all that he said refer to communications, and that I didn't know if that meant I needed to talk to communications or that he was going to talk to them. So he sent the email after the fact that said, he explained what it was he was trying to do. And he said that the marketing, Total Marketing, I think that's the name of the company, they're willing to reach out and to talk. But initially, when I talked to Valerie and the guy from Total Marketing, when all of this started, she said point blank, no, there's nothing else y'all can do. Y'all have to use the logo as it is. So this time when we had the conversation with the guy, he was a bit more open to at least hearing what we had to say. Whereas in the past, it was no, you use it as it is, period, end of sentence. So we had the conversation, and as I said, we haven't seen anything that they produce or come up with. And as he reminded us over and over and over, it still would have to go to the Board of Commissioners for them to approve it for us to use it. So I thought that you were going to present, and then at least they would have been warm to the idea of the library is not satisfied with the logo that they have, and they would like to make some changes, because they're going to ultimately have to decide whether or not they will even let us change it. But one of the things they did say was that they didn't really want us to continue to use our logo and their logo. So they were willing maybe to look to see how they could make some hybrid or do something that would appease both of us.
Okay, and if I can just lastly say, that is why I felt comfortable, in order for me to comfortably give a presentation before a board who more than likely is not going to care about what I have to say, and just receiving new information, I felt like we as a board, as a body, needed to have a conversation so we're on the same page, because I don't want to be made feel like I'm over there by myself and there are conversations happening. I want to make sure that whatever it is I present, that we are all, this is something we all want.
I'm sorry, go ahead and finish.
So it's not that, and I reserve the right to go back. I told the commissioners that I was, holding off for now, but I can present at the next work session. It's just that I feel like we needed to have a conversation, because honestly, I felt blindsided, because a redesign is nowhere in my presentation.
And do note it, Vice Chair, and what you're saying, and you have a valid point to bring this up. And at the same time, with the communications that you're referring to, it is some things don't get told in a timely manner, in a fashion where I didn't know that. And I don't think, and I can't speak for her, she's on the line, she can jump in, which is Director-elect, that she was under any impression from the COO that at any time to tell the board, tell your vice chair not to show up.
Well, I did not get that from him at all or anything
Right.
because I had all intentions on presenting tonight. It's just that right before the meeting, I received that email because it was sent to the commissioner who had put my meeting on the agenda. And so she sent it to me to see where I wanted to go. And I was like, well, I did not know about this. And this is someone who's going to be at that meeting, I'm presuming. So he could have completely challenged me with questions that I have no idea about. So I definitely
So
appreciate
why did
Director.
they, what, well, okay, I'm questioning, why did that person waited 30 minutes if they already had this information days before? Now you doing something intentionally that you're not giving us the opportunity. If you sat on this information and you deliberately waited 30 minutes and you send it to that one particular person and not addressed it to the rest, then I have a issue with that because you had to have that email. That person didn't get it 30 minutes before and then sent it straight to you.
I cannot speak to that.
Right.
Madam Chair, I just know when I received it.
Right, exactly.
And what I felt comfortable in doing was not to present, to make sure that we're all on the same page. Because I would not want to go up there, duking it out with these people about their beloved logo when we're not all on the same page. If everyone is okay with the status quo, I'm cool with it.
No,
Yeah.
it's not right. And I'm glad you're bringing it up and we're going to address it. So now everybody, as clarity, what we just got through hearing the feedback and the email correspondence, that they didn't respect us enough to tell us in a timely fashion. We threw you in the loop of a whirlwind without anybody to talk back onto as an elbow to confirm. That's not how you do business. That's just unprofessional. And I'm not saying right.
Just to speak to your question, I'm looking here and I see that Dietrich sent the email at 5:09 and the meeting was at 5:30.
Right. So exactly. How were we going to communicate at 5:09? Come on now, be. And I'm talking frankly, to our viewers and anybody else, but come on, be frankly. How do you expect for somebody to receive information to do a cutoff to intercede to somebody else? We're being blindsided as a whole as the Board of Trustees. It's just not affecting you, it's affecting all of us too as a whole. Because I mean, look, everything is time dated. Now, do you feel like in professionalism that you gave this person or that organization time enough notice? No, you didn't. So something was done intentionally. So we'll go ahead and tape this right now, and then we'll discuss offline how we need to go about, and we'll share with the board once we talk as an executive board how we will move forward, so the Board of Trustees will be in the loop of this conversation. So we'll just take it from there. Are you in agreement of doing that?
I am in agreement. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right. I don't know who's laughing, but okay. All right. Thank you.
Your business, Ms. Dietrich.
Okay. So the next thing on our agenda, I think now it's safe to say that we can move over to new business. Okay. So, and I do want to state at this point, I do apologize for everybody's time. We are at least 20 minutes in over 8 o'clock. So I do apologize. So if anybody do have to leave, I do only appreciate it and I understand that everybody's time is precious. So we're about done. We have 3 more items to discuss, and I think it's really simple. We can wrap it up. So the new business is the nomination for the new board offices. So the nominating committee, if Brenda, Madam Secretary, if you don't mind, if you want to call out those individuals that is on the nomination committee so that the other Board of Trustees will know who they need to request their interest in any offices of board offices position, which will be coming up in June. Okay, because the new fiscal year starts in July. So everybody got to be in place by July the 1st. So the election will be done in June. So, Madam Secretary, do you have the nominating committee people?
We have the head of the nominating committee, which is Mr. Bob McAllen. That's on his plate. And before we go further, let me just mention that my appointment ends for this board on, I think it's the end of May or June. I am eligible for one more term, but
That's good. That's good.
but I don't know if I'll be reappointed. So I don't want to put my name out there as secretary. You know, somebody else may have to go ahead and take that. But you know how politics is. I don't know if I'll be reappointed or not. I would love to continue to serve, but you just never know.
And then
And
when
you
she
do such a wonderful job,
Sending my
Madam
vote.
Secretary. We need you. We need you.
so when
Well,
she means
tell
that
your
you got to-
commissioners.
I know all the board of trustees understand the language where she said when she have to be appointed. But for our viewers, they need to know that we, the board of trustees, do not appoint people on the board of trustees for the library. It is the responsibility of the board of commissioners. They will
I'm
have to
sending my
look
vote.
at that. Right. So just want to make clear. So we know who's appointing who to the board and not ourselves. So very good. Thank you, Madam Secretary. And who else is on the nominating committee besides Bob?
We only have him listed. So I
Okay,
guess
do you
he'll have to volunteer someone to assist.
right. Do you understand that, Bob? You got it?
Yes, I don't know if I'm ready for that much power, but see.
Ready or not,
Anybody interested in it?
ready or not, we're here.
Hey, Bob, you're about to start getting a lot of gifts.
Oh gosh, I have to really bone up on what I have to do.
Keep it up.
Well, Bob, you have my number. You can text me. I think we communicate better through text. So whatever you need, I can refer you back to the handbook where the session is for you to reference to get you more comfortable with it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I'll be in touch with you.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. So the next thing on our list is the director evaluation prep. So we got to get ready for that. We have to put together our inputs into her evaluation. So we need to get started on that. So we might have to call some special call meetings in between so that we can get this task done. So just giving you a little heads up about that. Madam Secretary, do we have someone that we appointed? I know our last vice chair, she was appointed to organize and gather all the information from each of the board chair of their individual evaluation to incorporate it all into one. Do
That
we
is
have
correct.
someone that can take that task, or do we got to do the famous volunteer toad?
I can continue what the last chair did. I can do that.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Vice Chair. Woo, woo, woo.
And I'll get the information that she used and get that to you.
Okay. Awesome. I love a plan. I love it. So the last one is the update on the in-person board meeting. So with that, I received some communication of the Inquirer. What is the state librarian is stating about the could we add the virtual into our bylaws? I believe that's how the conversation went. So once I addressed that question to Julie Walker, the state librarian, she responded back in an email, and I forwarded that email to all of the board of trustees. If you need to for us to resend that email back to you to refresh your memory, we can. But what she stated is that no, is not to be inputted into the bylaws. That it will be returned to a in-person meetings, and this is coming from the orders of Governor Kemp. So her orders comes from him, and he said as of March the 8th, that all meetings that is state related and stuff will be going back to in person. So our next meeting will be done in April in person. I will be getting with Director-elect of all the safety protocols, how we need to have that meeting set up with social distance and everything, because even though the state says one thing, I think we have enough common sense that we still want to stay alive and do all the precaution and covering up the mask and stuff like that. So we'll be giving out information on those protocols
Indeed.
before the April meeting.
Indeed.
I want to make a comment that my wife and I have both had our second Pfizer inoculation, so I'm theoretically safe.
Oh, okay. Bob said he's safe. Well, that's good. That's good. Thank you, Bob. You and your wife. Thank you, y'all. Doing the right thing. And I know tomorrow I go get my first shot. So I'm excited as well. So I know by the governor saying by the end and the president saying that they're going to be opening up things real soon. And by May, everybody have that option to get the shot. But hey, it's all going to be available. So, but I will get with
there is some advantage to being an old dude.
You're right. Those AAA cards and APPR cards, that you got advantage. You're right. It is a plus. So never think that you cannot get rewards when you get older. Amen. Thank you, Bob.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to try and see if I can make some arrangements, because the virtual helped a lot because of my job.
Right.
But in person is going to be a little bit more difficult. So I'll see if I can try and move some things around, but I'm telling you now, I'm probably going to be late.
Okay, so like I said, I have some ideas. I've been looking at some other government agencies, how they're doing their function, and I'm gonna run it by Miss Director-elect. Even here in our own county with the Board of Commissioners, some comes in person, and we have some of the other commissioners that's on virtual, where they are viewed in to the meeting that way too. So we're gonna.
I vote we do that, because it's gonna be difficult for me as well.
Right. The ones that, so that's the option that I wanted to talk and discuss with Dr. Director-elect, where it can be a what they call it, a hybrid learning kind of thing.
Yeah, hybrid.
Hybrid learning. So we fit to go into the hybrid learning, y'all. Some in person and some not in person, but we're all there together. So I think listen to everybody now. That sounds like the best avenue for us to take. So I will be double masked to lead the way to be in person. So maybe my first shot could keep me safe.
Well, you know, if the U.S. Congress, both the House and the Senate, can do a combo, they should be more able to agree.
Right. At least I can report back to Ms. Walker to say that our meetings are in person, which is true. Which is true. Some of us is there, so it's in person. Just like the Board of Commissioner, they do have people that comes in person to sit at the board meeting in the physical building and stuff like that. But like I said, with Director-elect, and she getting her staff together, and we're gonna set up something to look at and keep everybody protected, and so that I do respect everybody's personal wishes and stuff like that. Because y'all are very important, and I love you all. Okay, if nobody didn't tell you that today, I did. Okay, is that so? Executive, Madam Secretary, is there any reason for us to go into executive session?
None that I am aware of, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we didn't have to go out to return back to the public meeting. So if that's anything else that need to be discussed, please say it now. That's the horn said that's your last opportunity. Shut it down. So, okay. So if there's nothing else, can I get a motion on the floor to adjourn the Clayton County Board of
Amen.
I third.
Whoa.
Who made the motion?
Okay, any questions for that then? No questions?
Yes, who
All
made
in
the
favor, say
motion?
aye.
Yes, who
Oh,
made
it
the
was
motion?
it was
Madam
Kim Blackwell.
Madam Chair.
I
Madam
made the
Chair.
motion.
Okay, Ms. Perry made the motion.
Kim
No, I
made the
Oh,
did.
Kim, okay. Kim made the motion.
And
And
I support
second. I think
Emmanuel.
several seconds.
We're gonna have a discussion.
Emmanuel seconds.
okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, thank you.
Mm-mm. Okay, so I take it's no questions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.